Hello everyone, here we go. It is Tuesday afternoon, the 10th of September. So the month is moving right along. It's beautiful here today where I am on the Central Coast. It's about 21, well, it's supposed to be 21 degrees today, which is a little cooler than it has been, but it's a beautiful sunny day. Nice day for a walk if anyone wants to get out in it. So I hope wherever you are, you're experiencing good weather, and wherever you are, things are good. I see we have people here from everywhere today. We have Judy from Kansas. We have Linda from Las Vegas. We have Sheila from New Zealand, from Christchurch. We have Chris from Melbourne. I'm just going through and looking at random names. Marsha, hi, you're in Texas. Hello, hello. Margaret, how are you? I'm sorry you've been through a little bit of a hard time with your health lately. But you were saying the swelling should go down in about a week. That's good news. Glad to hear. Who else do we have here? We have so many people. It's impossible for me to say all the names. So my apologies for that. If I have not mentioned your name. Nairi, you're with us today. You've bought a house or a new place down in Sydney, northern suburbs, I think. How's that going? Are you packing up? What's going on there? Oh, hello, Marianne. Nice to see you. Yeah, I hope you're not feeling too sore after shopping. I'm sorry about that. Hey, Cherie, how are you? Hi, Suzanne. Hello, Glenda. All right, good crowd. All right, you guys, we're going to do something today that is pretty simple, and I'm going to be referring to the new mini catalogue. So if you have one of these, you're ahead of the game because you may already know some of the things that are in there. So I will end up making a card, maybe two, we'll see. And in the hour or so that we have here together today. So I'm going to show you a few things we can do with some new embossing folders. So let's switch over to the desk, give that a shot. And I've got my new catalogue here. Now, if you go to the index, which is right up the back, so on page 64, that's where our index is. This is kind of like your roadmap for this catalogue. I think, oh, no, that's really good. You put a deposit on a house in Asquith. Right, cool. That was kind of the area that I grew up in. I lived at Galston over the other side of the gorge when I was growing up. Until I was about 10, we lived there. So I know the area pretty well. Oh, and you're selling the house in Hamlin Terrace. Are you sad about it or are you happy? How's the feeling? Do you feel like you're good? Cherie says she's feeling almost human today. So if you're almost human, what are you then? Oh, there you go, Nola. Well, that's because I'm in the afternoons on a Tuesday, not on the so Friday nights and Sunday nights I go live at 7:30 p.m., which is not really fabulous for the North American market girls because the North American girls are all fast asleep in their beds at the time that I go live normally. But because I go live on a Tuesday at 2 p.m., that's a lot earlier and it suits a lot of people over in that part of the world a little more. It's not so great though for the European girls. Whereas my evening ones, I do have quite a few girls watch from Europe and the UK because they're it's early morning over there for them. So no matter when we go live, it's not going to suit someone, right? It's really hard to get it perfect for everybody. So there you go. I'm sorry. I'm sure that you are not looking like something that the dog dragged in. I'm sure you're fine. Oh, so you lived down that way originally. So you're at Mount Colah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, the M1 for anyone who doesn't know, the M1 is the big freeway that connects Central Coast, the area that we live, with Sydney, which is about an hour to 90 minutes south of here. And so the M1 gets very, very congested. And if there's an accident on the M1, that stands for Motorway 1, if there's an accident on that road, the delays can be hours and hours and hours. And there is an alternate road, but it's a lot longer, an older road that used to be the highway before the M1 went in. I still remember when we used to pay tolls at the M1 and then they did away with those. So I remember when they were building it. So that's how old I am. Yeah, so you're the only driver now, Nairi. I get it. Totally get it. All right, you girls. All right, so I wanted to turn your attention to the index, and about halfway down in the second column, you've got embossing folders. Okay, and this is what we're talking about today. All of the embossing folders that we have from this new catalog are 3D embossing folders, okay, which is good for what I want to show you today. So we're going to do a few different techniques with these embossing folders, and I'm going to show you some fun or new creative ways to use them. So, hey, Ellen, nice to see you. You remember needing coins for the tolls? I know, right? I remember being so excited, you know, I'd be allowed to throw the coins in sometimes into those baskety things. That was good fun. So we've got this one. This one's called Perfectly Plaid, okay, and it's just as the name suggests, like a tartan design, or some people like to say plaid. Plaid is more of an American thing to say. We say tartan here, but we know what you mean. It's the same sort of thing. It's a little bit, we have a lot of words that we say different. Like, for example, people in the US say braids and we say plaits. So totally different things. Mind you, a French braid is different again, right? So many different words. And my husband and I often have to talk to each other about this because he's American, my hubby. And so he moved here about 8.5 years ago. And that's when we got married. But a lot of our language, even though we do both speak English, a lot of our language sometimes it's pretty interesting. Some of the words that we say to each other don't always make sense. So there you go. All right, so this one here, this one is called for Painted Trees, and it is part of the Season of Elegance suite. So I'm going to show you these as I go through. Oh, really? That's terrible, Cherie. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. That's awful. I'm so sorry that happened to your family. Not nice. Now, I'll keep going. The third embossing folder is this one. This is called Birchwood, and you can see it's kind of like the bark of a birchwood tree. Super nice. But they are all 3D folders, which means they leave a deeper impression. And you need to actually put them through with their own special sandwich. So I'm going to talk to you about that, and then we're going to look at a few different ways that, like I said, you can be a little bit creative in how you use these. So let's look to see. So the Birchwood is part of the Nests of Winter suite, and that's on page 31. So that's this one. You can see it right here. This particular one is $21. It is a big folder. Can you see that it's one of those big massive folders? So the normal size folder, I'll just pull one out if I can find one. Give me a second. So a normal size folder is like this. Okay, look at the size difference. Okay, they're much bigger. So this is great if you're going to be doing a 6-inch wide, because that's what it is. It's 6 inches wide, so you can do a 6x6 piece, but you could do something much larger, like a section on a scrapbook page or something like that. So hey Debbie, nice to have you watching for the first time from southwestern Michigan. Which part of southwestern Michigan? Because that's where my husband's from. Well, he's from western Michigan. His family's on Lake Michigan, actually. So there we go. But I'd love to know where you are. Are you like in the Holland area or down, thinking what else is down south? Yeah, I'd love to know where you are. All right, so you can see the size difference between the regular folders and the new ones that have come out. We've had a few of these now. There's a few this size in the annual catalogue as well. Vicksburg, I don't know Vicksburg. My husband's from Manistee, so you might know where that is. It's probably further up from you. And then we have this, the plaid one is the same size. And then we have this one, the trees, is 6x6. Okay, so you can see it's the same width, but it is a shorter size. Okay, so there you go. There you go. We've got some quilty people here by the sound of things. Now at the front, that's where you'll find the Season of Elegance. And Season of Elegance, the Painted Trees embossing folder, is here on page 25, and that one is $19.25. So the bigger ones are $21 and the 6x6 ones are $19.25. Okay, so to give you a bit of an idea. Oh, good, Ross. I'm glad to have you here. You're in Florida. That's a very, very cool. Yeah, this is a really fun group, girls. I know we have have really, really great people who watch these videos. I'm very, very excited about everyone who pops in, and it's become a bit of a community here. Okay, I do know where Kalamazoo is, Debbie, so there you go. Do you know Manistee at all? It's beautiful up there. My husband comes from a really lovely part of the world. So I've actually gone through and I've actually done a few things today, and I want to show you. First of all, let me bring in my cut and emboss machine. That's this beautiful machine here. Now, mine is in a very sad, sorry state. I'm going to zoom out so you get a better look at it because I'm a long way. There you go. You get to see some of the mess on my desk as well, but that's okay. All right. So when we use a 3D embossing folder, okay, you're actually going to use the base plate, number 1, okay, pop that down. But you're going to get rid of everything else on here that normally goes. So your thin die adapter and your clear plates, those are all gone. We're not using them at all. And then we're also going to need a specialty plate. Now, the specialty plate is number 4. This does come with your machine, but if you don't have one, you can purchase them separately, okay? And they're $19.25, I think. I'm hoping I've got that right here in Australia. That, don't panic if you're overseas. That is obviously a different price depending on your market, but there you go. We're that's the price we have. Now, I'm going to do this today on Night of Navy cardstock. Hang on a second. I need to turn on my... That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, a bit of light coming in through the window. Here's Night of Navy cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the painted trees, and I'm going to put this on my piece. Now, you can, the nice thing about the embossing folders being clear is you can put your paper inside and kind of position it where you want them. So if you want them to one side, which I think I do, then I want that to be kind of there on the left. And I might even, I think I'll move it up a little bit as well. I don't want it, I want a bit more room at the top. Okay, so about that. Okay, so that my 2 trees, I'm not going to have 3. If I was going landscape, I could have 3, but I just want 2. And I've got a bit of space here at the side. So I'm going to pop that with the hinge towards the, going through first, goes through towards the front. And then we put our specialty plate on top of that. So all you need is base plate, folder with your paper inside, and a specialty plate. That is it. That's your sandwich. Okay, then we run that through. And you'll feel a bit of pressure, and you might see that my desk shakes a little bit when I go through, and I'm sorry about the big clunk, but that's perfectly normal. Okay, so let's take that out, and then I'm going to bring this back in so we're closer. There we go. I'm trying to get it straight. There we go. You like seeing this folder in action. That's good. It's really, really lovely. I'm going to show you a few other projects I've made with it because I've already done some ahead of time just to be a little bit prepared today. I know that's not like me. But here is the folder, and you can now see we've got our perfectly beautiful trees on our card, embossed into our cardstock. And there is something really, really wonderful about that tactile feeling of embossing on your paper. It's fabulous. Now, those are nice, but they don't stand out very much. It's hard to see them on there unless you actually hold them up in the light and you can see it. So we can feel them, but you can't really see what's going on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some color. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm thinking, will I show you other samples or will we just go ahead? I'm thinking we might just go ahead. And I think for this one, I've got a few choices that I could use here, but you guys know I'm a big fan of white ink. Okay, white ink is one of those magical, wonderful things that the powers that be at Stampin' Up have given us to play with, and I am so glad because I love me some white ink. Now, I went and bought myself some sponge daubers, brand new sponge daubers, and do you think I can find them? No, can't find them. So I'm actually just going to pull out one that's fairly clean, and I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to go here. Now I can pounce straight into my white ink with my sponge dauber. Okay, can you see that we're picking up some white ink? Another option is you can put your block into the white ink, okay, and then pick your color up from there. So either way, you can go with either. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it straight up and down, and I'm just going to apply this white ink to the tops of my trees. So I'm being very, very careful and I'm coming in and just sort of tapping away at the. Now we have done in another video back in January, 9th of January, I went and had a look. I did do colouring, embossed images with white ink. So this is not the first time I've done this, and it probably won't be the last because it's a favourite technique of mine. But I'm going to show you a few other things you can do today as well, other than just white ink. But this is just the first one. Okay, so you can see how that comes up, and immediately it starts to look kind of shimmery. If you really want to make it look shimmery, you could use a bit of Wink of Stella over the top of that and shimmer it right up. Okay, and that would be really nice, because I think on a blue background, a navy blue background like this, it looks kind of like the trees are in the moonlight. Okay, that's how it looks to me. I'm going to pick up a bit more color, and I'm going to, now what you don't want to do is lay your dauber over. You just want to hold it straight up and down. That way it picks up mostly on the raised bits and less on the background, because if you get too much on the background, it sort of spoils the look of it a little bit. So I'm not looking at your comments at the moment because I'm concentrating. So it is really nice, isn't it, Roz? All right, I'm just gonna just wait till we see what's coming. I'm just looking at your comment there, and I don't even know what you mean by that, Cherie. Did I miss an earlier comment? Right, so let's keep going. So I'm holding it straight so it just picks up on those embossed edges, and I'm being pretty careful. I'm not pressing too hard because I want to make sure that the ink stays just on the raised bits as much as possible. And like I said, if you want to make it shimmery, a bit of Wink of Stella over the top of that looks amazing. We do have other options though. All right, I'm getting pretty close to done as much as I want to do with this. Now, here's a thought. Okay, so that's kind of looking the way I want it to look. And this would be beautiful. We could make a lovely card with this, and it's really, really pretty. Look at that. Isn't it nice? Super nice. All right. Making sure I haven't missed any comments. I'm sorry. If anyone's asked me any questions, I'm so sorry that I haven't been watching all the things. The navy, yes, it does show up really well on the navy, and it's a nice look for like a nighttime card, right? Dottage would be excellent. I agree. Now, there's something else that I love to do. I'm going to come in here with my blender pens. Now, my blender pens, I'm also going to use some white ink, because blender pens, we've had these forever. In fact, when I bought my kit 18 years ago, this was in my kit, these 3 of these, and you buy them in a pack of 3. I'm actually going to highlight some of the raised edges and make them stand out a little bit more. So you can come back in and add some extra white to some of the more prominent areas, if that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm doing? And I'm just kind of, and that way it really makes some of the more prominent bits stand out even more. And so it takes a little while to do, but it's definitely worth it. You know, you might need a little bit of patience, but I think it's well worth it to do this. So grab your blender pens and highlight those white areas that you really want to highlight. And the nice thing about this, it's actually quite therapeutic. To be honest, while I'm doing this, it makes me want to stop talking and just color. But that's probably, I don't know, would you like me to do that? You probably don't want me to go too quiet, right? Can you see the difference it's making as we work our way down? Can you use blender pens to color in a stamp like you do with the Stampin' Up marker? Yes, you can, but you would need to pick up the color ink. In fact, using blender pens was actually one of the techniques I thought about doing today, just concentrating on blender pens and showing a few different ways to use them. I can still do that another week if anyone's interested in that. But I think blender pens are a very underrated Stampin' Up tool. There are some tools that I think in our collection that don't get used as much as they deserve, and blender pens are one. Just working my way down. I know I'm going very quiet. Yes, they do take longer to dry, but there's a couple of things you can do to dry them faster. And one is obvious. One would be pick up a heat tool and dry them off with the heat tool. That's pretty obvious. But there's another favorite way that I like to dry mine off almost instantly with no hassle whatsoever. And you probably know what that is too. Now, the fact that pigment inks takes longer to dry is actually a quality that makes them useful for various techniques, such as heat embossing, because the fact that it dries slowly means that your powder is going to stick to it, right? So pigment ink is definitely a part of a crafter's toolkit, definitely. Something you want to have. For embossing, my favorite is actually, even though this is white that's suitable for embossing, but my favorite for embossing is Versamark. It's sticky without the color, so means it's versatile to me, that I can use different colored embossing powders with it, and it always looks good. So that's just my personal preference, but you know, you can also use white ink. I find Versamark a bit stickier. I find that the powder sticks better to Versamark than it does to white ink. All right, we've nearly got to the bottom here, and you're thinking I'm probably going to do the other one, but I'm actually thinking if we're going to put a greeting on this card, then that's probably going to cover up part of this this tree over here. So we might be better off to not do the other tree until we know where our piece is going to go. Can you see the difference between the two trees where I've added the extra white? I just think it helps the contrast. It stands out a little bit more. I love to use them with watercolor pencils too, Roz. That's one of my favorite ways to use them. I did use them the other night when we made the book treat box on my Sunday night video. I used them to color in my house, and I use watercolor pencils for that. Yeah, it does probably look like it's a little more in the background. You're probably right. Plus, our greeting's probably going to go down here somewhere. I could put a greeting up in the sky. Now, Cherie suggested we have some dottage, and I don't think that that's particularly a bad idea either. We do actually have, in the Peaceful Evergreen set that's part of this same suite, there is some dots in there. So we could add some dots to the sky if we wanted to. Like stars, that would actually probably look quite nice, and I could add them in white, or I could add them in navy, or maybe even both. So I don't know. I think we should make a card out of this particular piece because I love how these colors turned out. They look really good. I'm going to show you. I did another one. This is on a mossy meadow background, so there's another one. That one I haven't actually picked up and done the second layer with the blender pens yet. I've only done the sponge dauber on this one, so you can see how that looks. But I think the navy is better. I think that's really, really pretty, right? Opportunities for improvement. That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, I'm going to go in with my Night of Navy, and I'm just going to do some dots. Now, these are not going to stand out all that much because it's navy on navy. And I'm just going to... But they will, you can kind of see them. If I hold it in the light, you can kind of see it there. Can you see them? There we go. And then I'm thinking I'm going to clean off my stamp, and I might come in and do some white ones. We could also, if we did them in Versamark, we could emboss them. I could do them in, say, silver or something like that. What do you guys think? Do you think you'd like them in white, or do you think you'd like actually embossed, as in heat embossed? I don't know. I like both ideas. Let me just try with white and let's see how that looks. Yep, that's a metaphor for life. When things don't go the way we plan, it's an opportunity for embellishment, and that is a life thing. All right, so these look rather nice, and you can see they stand out a lot more on that navy background. All right, so I'm going to turn around and do one here. I don't want to go down too far. I just want to have them up near the top. All right, that might be enough. What do you think? Do we like that? Oh, hey, Tanya. Oh, how old is your granddaughter, Tanya? And she's gone down for a nap. That's nice. All right, so this is how this is looking. It's kind of pretty. And I think that we want to have a greeting on there. Now we have some choices with greetings. And the Peaceful Season dies that are also part of this suite have some fantastic dies. We could, for example, put, you know, like we could just have a peace and joy or something like that on here, but I think that's the wrong shape. I could, if I wanted to, have like a little banner. That's really nice. There's also, we could do a Merry Christmas and just, you know, pop our Christmas straight across the bottom here. That might be quite nice. And then this one is thin, and then this one outlines it. So maybe we should do that. What color will we do? That's a good question. I'm thinking maybe white for the behind, and then maybe, I'm wondering, silver maybe for the Christmas. What do you think? Could we have white and silver, or we could go with balmy blue, which would also look really nice. So this is this piece here could go really nicely on a balmy blue base card. Just deciding what colors I would like it to be. So you can see that's quite nice. That do we like the silver idea? Yes, people are saying silver. Silver border and navy Christmas. Oh, that would be nice too. All right, I'm going to do a balmy blue card base just because I feel like it. Don't use balmy blue very often for card bases, and I think it's a really nice color. Let's put our bone folder over that. So this is going to end up on here like so. And then what do we decide? So silver border or white border? Cherie said silver border and then a navy Christmas. I'm worried that the white and the navy, sorry, the white and the silver might not be too different enough to give us a lot of contrast. And I think contrast would be good. So one more vote for navy and silver. Okay, silver and navy. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. So we'll do the small one in the navy and we'll do the big one in the silver. Okay. All right, so let me grab some silver paper. And I'm going to quickly whip that through. I've still got my base plate here, so let me quickly grab that. And I'm doing silver first, and then we'll do a navy Christmas, the smaller one. And I've got plenty of navy hanging around from earlier when I was cutting up this card. Now I'm just going to tell you something, a little tip about this. So there's the outline, see there, and then we have the Christmas. But what I find is quite often the dot of the eye stays in the die. Can you see that? The navy dot is still in there. So we've got a couple of choices of what we do with that. If you want the easiest way to deal with the dot and not have to worry about it, grab a marker out, either a Stampin' Up marker in navy, the same color as this, or your blend, and you actually literally put the dot. Now you would need to use blends because we're using your Stampin' Up markers that aren't going to work on the foil, but you can see how this goes on there. See how that there's no dot on the eye. All right, so if you want to pull it out of here, where is it? It's still in here. Okay, you'll need to grab a pokey tool of some kind and then push it out. There it is. There's a little dot, and then don't lose it because it's a bit fiddly, right? All right, so I'm going to put, going to use some Tombow for this. Like usual, I've forgotten to use my adhesive sheets again because I'm terrible at remembering. Who else can ever remembers to do that? I'm just putting a dot here and there on like any sticky outy bits. That's the official term, sticky outy bits. And any kind of bits that might, I don't want bits to flap around. So that's why. And I'm going to move this carefully so I don't disturb my dot that's sitting there on the glass. And we're just going to pop this. And it just takes a moment because it's Tombow, it's liquid, so it takes a moment to dry. And you just want to push it so it actually goes where you want it to go. And I'm just going to let that sit there. But my little tiny dot, I'm actually going to use my Tombow to put, I'm actually going to do a tiny, tiny dot on the Christmas. And then I should be using my Take Your Pick tool because that's what that's for. The putty end of that is great for picking up little tiny bits like that. All right, hold it down. There we go. I've just ordered a new Take Your Pick tool actually because I realized I had lost one and I'm down a Take Your Pick tool, so I ordered another one. All right, so there's Christmas. Looks rather good in the silver, doesn't it? That's a good idea, Roz, keeping your adhesive sheets with your embossing machine. Ah, yeah, good idea. All right, so now this is going to go, actually I might attach this first. All right, so this is not a difficult card. We've just made a card that can go, the card base can go, card front can go straight onto the base. And it's got that balmy blue around it. You could have done white too. If anyone prefers white, you certainly could use white. Got a bit of a piece there I didn't want. There we go. And then we've got Christmas right across here, but we don't want Christmas sitting there by itself, right? There's the silver and the navy. Are we happy with our choice of silver and navy? Do we like that? I'm just going to put, actually, I might use mini dimensionals because I'm going to put, you don't have to put them everywhere, okay, but you just put some of them in some of the more prominent spots. Places got a bit more cardstock real estate. And I could probably fit another one on the C, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see, get that off. And let's pop this right here. Now, I want to make sure I'm straight. So, all right. So I don't want Christmas by itself, and I'm going to grab a bit of white cardstock. Let me see if I've got any white scraps sitting here. Sometimes I have lots of white scraps. Oh, there's a white scrap, but that would be very tricky. Let me see if I can actually be clever enough to put my my Merry, or some people like Merry Christmas, some people like Happy Christmas. What I love about the Peaceful Season set is it's given you both. You can have Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas. Okay, take your pick because some people have a thing about one or the other. Okay. The other thing I love about this set is you've got love from our home to yours, and in case that doesn't suit you, you've also got love from my home to yours. So whether you live alone or whether you live with a family and you want to convey that at Christmas time, you have both options, and I think that that is fantastic. You only use Happy, Cherie. Well, I think we were going to use Happy today. So let's go Happy Christmas. I did one earlier that was Merry Christmas. Did one this morning, or no, yesterday I think I did that one. And I don't know whether this might be too small a strip, but we're about to find out. Let me grab my block B, and I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to grab some Night of Navy ink. Oh, Misty Moonlight, doesn't matter. Night of Navy or Misty Moonlight, either will be fine. And let's pop that on there. Oh yeah, it's going to actually work quite well. I didn't mean to do it this way, but this tiny strip seems to have worked out pretty good. Look at that. The other thing is I quite like sometimes if my, for something like this, I don't mind if it's straight or not, because I might decide I'm going to put it on an angle, for example. I don't know that I will this time, but I'm just going to pop it right here. Yeah, we could have put it up high, Cherie, but I wanted both my trees sort of popping above my Merry Christmas. So let me, now, am I going to put this, I'm going to use some Balmy Blue ink, seeing as we have Balmy Blue for the card base. I'm going to use my Balmy Blue and I'm going to pop that here. And I'm going to show you a few other things that you can do with this, all right? So I've inked around my little happy here, and we could put it on dimensionals or we could put it flat. Because Christmas is on dimensionals, I'm kind of tempted to just pop it on. Oh, what do you think? Dimensionals or flat? You see my point, do you? Yeah, exactly. That's right. All right, so if we go dimensionals, we'll need mini dimensionals, which is fine. Raise, says Donna. Okay, okay, we are. Flat, says Marty. Oh, raise, flat, dimensionals. Well, it seems to be a split vote. Everyone has their opinion, but they're not all the same. All right, so let's, and the other question, will I go, no, I think I'm going to go straight. There we go, like so. Now, I think we should use some embellishments on here, and I'm thinking the Drucy dots might be good on here because we have those beautiful silver Drucy dots. Let's pull them out. These, I mean, those are gorgeous. Have you seen these? How beautiful they are. They are like, Drucy is a geological term that means covered in crystals, and I love that we have this. I'm deciding where to put them. I'm going to have a couple of little ones. There's bigger ones like the one I just used, and then I'm going to have a couple of smaller ones up the top here. I know. What do you think? Do we like that? I don't think that's quite the right place for this one. Ooh, ding. I hit my magnetic tray with my scissors. There we go. I think that's better. There we go. I'm going to call that a finished card. What do you think? Do we like it? It's a bit of fun, right? It's very easy though. You saw how quick and easy this card is. Super nice. You don't have to do complicated cards to make beautiful cards. You can get some fabulous results with some fun techniques. So let's have a quick look at some of the other cards or some of the other panels that I prepared today. So we had a look at these ones, the green, and then on the navy. Which one do you like best? Do you like the navy? Because I do. I prefer the navy, but some people might prefer the green. What do you think? Now I have a love of crumb cake and white. Well, actually, maybe I won't move on to that yet. Let me move on. This is a different one. This is, I don't know if you can see it, like shiny gold. And I've done it on Blackberry Bliss. I happen to really like Blackberry Bliss and gold together. This is actually the enamel effects. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say enamel effects? So that's these little guys. Okay. And what I did was I popped either onto a scrap of paper or maybe onto a, what do you call it? Like a silicone mat or something like that. Something that it won't stick to. Let's just do it on a scrap of paper. Let me grab one. This will do. Got a bit of green left over from where I cut the paper earlier. Okay. And then all I did was, same as what I did with the white, I popped a little bit onto a piece of paper, and then I picked it up with my sponge dauber Now, just bear in mind that enamel effects, as the name suggests, it dries hard like enamel. Okay, so if you use a sponge dauber for this, your sponge dauber won't be soft and nice to use for anything else. So you will probably need to throw that sponge dauber away. Thankfully, they're not expensive, but if you don't want to have to do that, you may not want to use the enamel effects. But I liked the fact that it gave me this lovely shiny result. Okay, and you can also use it. There are different, we have two different packs of enamel effects. We have the red, black and white, but if you're going to use white, you might as well use white ink, and that's, at least that stays soft. It doesn't dry hard like this does. But this one is the metallic one, so we've got silver, copper and gold. Okay, they're the three that come in this pack, and I use these quite a bit. I thought about doing a technique class on them because I think I use them more at Christmas time, but I thought about doing a technique class with these at some point. If anyone's interested in that, let me know. You would have cut the trees out of the paper if you use green. Yes, right, I understand what you're saying, Marty. You prefer the navy if they're just done like this. Right, so there's another option. Okay, so that's another way to do it. Now, I do have a thing about, here's the birch one. Okay, I don't know if you can see both of these. All right, these are white ink, okay, and you might notice that there is a fair bit of space around the design, so there's a fair bit of background. So you could do like I've done, new sponge daubers, and it looks really good. However, it's very slow and time consuming. If you want a quick way to do this, I did both of these with a brayer. Okay, with our current brayer that we have, that some people have said to me, how do I use the brayer? The brayer can be handy for various techniques, but it's particularly good if you want something that requires a flat surface to apply it. Okay, so this over a flat surface is going to color mostly the raised area and not going to the recesses. But here's the difference. Can you see these two? This one is a bit cleaner than this one. This one has a lot more white in the background. And the difference is, this one, I went over it horizontally. This one, I went vertically. Because the pattern is largely vertical, like this one on this side, when I went vertically, I got less on the background, and it's a cleaner result. So if you're going to use a brayer, you want to use it. So this one has a really hard surface. It's not like the old rubber brayer. Okay, so totally different things, and don't expect them to do the same things or give you the same results. They don't. Okay, this is different. So I like this one for applying over an embossing folder because it only mostly goes on the raised areas. But think about the way you go about it. If you do it crossways, when there's so much background here, you're going to get more white in the background. You might like that. You might decide you like that look. I actually preferred it like this because to me that's cleaner, and I didn't get nearly as much white in the background. A little bit here, a little bit here, but mostly it's just on the raised bits. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, remember to go vertically, exactly, and only go light. Don't press too hard. So you may need a few practice runs to get it the way you want it to, but it's a nice thing to do. Okay, so that was a separate experiment. Okay, so that's with the birch. Who likes the birch embossing folder? I think it's really nice, and it's very organic looking. So you can and it's part of the Nests of Winter suite. So let me quickly grab that because I'm doing one card tomorrow for my launch with the Nests of Winter suite. I think it's page 31 from memory. Let me see. Yep, this is it. Okay, and it shows it to you here. Now they've actually used it over here in a couple of different places. They used it here. It's going horizontally behind this card here, and actually I really like that. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see how nice that background looks? And then here they've actually got it at the top going vertically, but that's on a card in the background there. So they've used it a couple of different ways, but I think the white and the crumb cake is a winner. What do you reckon? Do we like that? What does it look like on the deboss side? We could do that. Would you like me to do it with the white? Let's do it. Okay, so with your brayer, there's a couple of things you need to know. It has these sticky uppy bits. That's the official term for those. Okay, these sticky uppy bits. If you're putting it down and you don't want to get, you've got ink on it, you don't want to get the ink on your tabletop, turn that over. It's like feet, so it keeps it off your surface. Okay, but when you're actually applying the ink and rolling it around in the ink pad, you want to have it going the other way so you don't dig these little legs, the feet, into the ink pad. You don't want to do that. Okay, so let me grab, I'm just going to grab all my bits and pieces out. Here's my white. So this is what I mean. Don't have it this way or you'll end up putting these into the ink pad and destroying it. So you want to have it going up the other way and you roll it around so the whole thing is covered in the ink. Can you see it's not red anymore? It's covered in white ink now. All right. And then we're going to get it now. Now, if I'm doing it this way, the problem is you only get one rotation before it starts to fade. So that's why sometimes with the brayer, going this way is a good idea because that's actually going to give you that whole rotation. Can you see that? And it looks quite nice. So that's how it looks if you go the other way. This is the deboss side as opposed to the emboss side. All right. The only time you like it is when it's used with white ink. I know white ink and crumb cake go really well together. I'll tell you another favorite of mine is grey granite and white. That's also a really nice look. I think grey granite is really nice for that. So this, well, I'll start down this end because we won't get a full rotation before it starts to fade. So that's why this is darker than that. But I actually think that that's better because you don't get any in the debossed areas. Looks good, doesn't it? Now that's a lot quicker than using a sponge dauber, don't you think? So that's how it looks on the deboss side. Thank you for asking the question. You prefer that side, do you? And this is the emboss side. Okay, so it really depends on what look you're going for. Now, here's a thought. If you wanted to, you could now heat emboss this. Okay, can you see that I have my ink on there? It's a little bit shiny because it's still wet. So you could heat emboss it and end up with a white heat embossed 3D embossed panel. So that's a little bit of extra work, but that's another option. Now, when I go to put this back down on here, I'm going to make sure the feet are down so that the inky brayer doesn't come into contact with my mat. And I'm going to grab, where is it? Oh, where did I put my cleaning cloth? Because I had it earlier and I put it on my desk and now I've put a million things on top of it and it's not here. It's okay. I'll clean up when I'm done. But you guys know this, right? That we should clean this as we go. All right. Huh. Interesting. I don't know where I put it. Never mind. All right. Okay, how did that go? Now, the only one we haven't used yet is the Plaid embossing folder, which is this one, the Perfectly Plaid. And this one, yeah, there's the cleanup. Exactly, right? And yeah, it looks like painted house planking as opposed to unpainted. Yep, exactly, Nicole. I know, I like it too. It's fun. It's fun. All right, so the Plaid one is a bit of fun. You can just do it as, and I've actually made several cards with this. Let me grab my samples and I'll show you a couple. I'm also using it for those of you who are doing the Zoom class with me on the last day of September. We're doing the Decorative Trees bundle. And we are going to be using an embossing folder. I'm going to be using this one, the Plaid embossing folder, but you can use any embossing folder that you happen to have. You don't have to have this one. Here's an example. This is actually, I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a bit hard to see, but that's actually basic beige. And I have done it with the Plaid embossing folder. Okay, and I actually I white inked over the basic beige. It's not exactly easy to see what I've done there, but that's what I did. Okay, and it's really rather nice. It makes it look a little bit vintage whitish. Oh, that's okay. You're talking about Craft Along. Craft Along is a Thursday. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm doing it on Thursday, but the Zoom class is on Monday. So I don't know if that helps you at all, Cherie. Maybe. And there was also a pink Christmas tree we did a few weeks ago with this embossing folder, the Plaid embossing folder. And I really like this one. I think it's lovely. So if you want to add color before you emboss, okay, as opposed to after, which is all the ones we've done so far, we've embossed and then we've colored. This one I like to do beforehand. So, oh, you're waiting for your order, Marty, are you? It's a lovely folder. I'm just picking a color. I'm deciding what color to pick. So I did pretty in pink before, and that was really nice. It was a really fun color. I think I might do Summer Splash today because I like the idea of that color. And where you want to apply your color is straight onto the embossing folder on the back of where the logo is. Okay, see the Stampin' Up logo right there? Okay, on the back of that. All right, so we're going to apply our ink. And you just want to put enough ink on there that it is bigger than the panel that you want to cover. Okay, so if, for example, I'm doing a card front, let me grab a card front size piece. Give me 1 second while I do that. And I've got a million scraps, so I'm just going to my scrap drawer and let me grab that. And I'm thinking, so 14.3 by 10 is the size that I want to do. That's card front size. All right, and I'm going to put my piece of paper straight on top of this. Now, here's a nice thing about this folder, okay? The folder has, even though it's not a perfect stripe, it has like stripes. It's a check folder, right? So it's actually really easy to line up your paper on the check, and you can double check it. When you close it, okay, you can see that even though they're not perfect, these pieces, when I run this through my 3D embossing folder sandwich, so that's going to be the specialty plate on top and the platform underneath, run it through, we're going to end up with a printed white card piece. And then you can use that card piece to make a card in any card you want to make. So you just color that you want to work with. Now I used Summer Splash, and it's quite it was quite a wet embossing folder, so you can see how this has come out. All right, it's really pretty. It's really nice. If your if your ink pad is not as juicy as this one, you may find that some parts of your design are stronger than others. So it may be, faded in some areas, which actually I really like. I think that's a really nice look. As far as cleanup of this goes, you can use a cleaning cloth over the top, or you can just use baby wipes to clean it up. Okay, and you just wipe it out as per wiping off anything else. So it's actually really easy to do. The color's nice, isn't it, Judy? It's Summer Splash is one of my favorite colors. It's probably my favorite in color this year, and I'm a blue-green girl anyway. So this one to me is I love the aqua kind of colors. So Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, Summer Splash, those colors all float my boat. It's very, very nice. So we could easily make a beautiful card with this. Like I said, in our Zoom class, we are going to be using this folder, and we're going to be doing this particular technique, but in the colors that I've chosen for that class. So I think, let me just see, I'm looking, I think Balmy Blue is the color we're using for that in that class, and we're going to do it on 2 different cards. If you don't have the Plaid embossing folder, don't worry, you can use any other 3D embossing folder and you'll get a lovely result. We're just going to make sure you're using the right color to match your card bases. So there you go. It would look nice with black Christmas trees. Ooh, that's very striking. That'd be really nice contrast, wouldn't it? And we could cut them with that the Peaceful Evergreen set, because it has the Peaceful Evergreen. So you've got in this suite, you've got Peaceful Season, which is all words, and then the matching dies are all banners that cut the words out. And then the other set that's in there is the Peaceful Evergreen. Okay, so you've got the words in one and the trees in another. But then there's dyes that cut these trees out. So you could also have, like you said, you could have black trees rather than the stamps. You could cut those tree shapes out and put them up against there. It would look nice. All right. Mondays are fine. Oh, good to hear. Well, that's when the Zoom class is, if you're interested in that one at all, Cherie. All right, so how do we do today? How did you like some of these techniques using the new 3D embossing folders? I particularly wanted to look at the new ones that are in here because I know not a lot of people have seen those yet. And they're all quite different. So the plaid is really, really different to the birch, is really, really different to the evergreens embossing folders. So you can do lots of different things with them for that reason because they're such different folders. All right, so which one do you see yourself making? What do you think? I'll put them all out so you can see. Do you like any of these ideas and think to yourself, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. And then we have the back of this. We have this one that is white on the back, as well as the one that is like both the debossed and the embossed side. So that's an embossed side, and this is a debossed side. What do you think, guys? We've done a few today. Do you like any of these? Oh, very good. They're just lots of fun. You have the plaid folder, Leslie. That's great. Leslie, thank you for your email, which I received last night. I really appreciate that. And I will get back to you. I just haven't had a chance yet. And I'm just looking to see. Let's see. I'm going to go back to me. Here I am. Okay. So you love learning new techniques. Well, you're in the right place because techniques are kind of my thing. I've always loved them. I've always loved showing people how to do new techniques. And I think I told some of you or all of you on another video that I once had a friend who said to me when I said something about running classes for my stamping business, he was like, but isn't it just, surely you don't need classes for that. I'm thinking he has no idea at all. Yes, and I've replied, Sheila. In fact, I've sent it to you. So yes, I got your email as well, and I sent it back to you and to Ronnie as well just before I went live. So I wanted to get that done before I went live so I don't forget when I'm done, because that's what happens. Just looking at comments. Oh, good. I hope you did learn something. Look, even if we don't learn something, sometimes it's good to revisit old techniques and, you know, look at new ways to use old techniques with new products, because that's always different. So it may be sometimes that we are going to repeat techniques here in these Technique Tuesday videos. That's okay, because we have new products and it's nice to show you how you can use those old techniques with new stuff. So I will always try and do that. But I'm really glad that you say you learned something. That makes me happy. It makes my heart happy, because I love to know that you guys are learning all the time. You're very, very welcome, guys. Thank you. All right. So what's coming up? We've got Friday night and Sunday night videos as per usual. Then Craft Along is, let me give you the actual date. I'll just look in my diary here. The actual date of Craft Along, it's the last Thursday of the month, so whatever that is. Thursday the 26th of September is Craft Along, and then 30th of September is the Zoom class with the Decorative Trees bundle. Okay, Decorative Trees is the one that I'm using this month for my Zoom class. So if you have the Decorative Trees bundle and you want to see some great projects to use with it, or to make with it, then that one may be for you. And there are 3 ways to be part of the Zoom class. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing everyone with all the different things I know I have on. So to do the Decorative Trees bundle, you'll want the Decorative Trees bundle, okay? If you have purchased the Decorative Trees bundle from me, the class is free, okay? You get your class for free. You also get the class for free if you're part of my team. I highly suggest that you have the Decorative Trees bundle, but I can understand that some people might want to do the class even without the bundle, because they want to see what they can do with the bundle before that. Maybe it's going to be see what they can do with it before they purchase it, maybe. So there's that possibility. If you're in my team, you can do it for free. But also, if you wish to purchase the class from me because you're not in my team and you're not a customer, then you can just do the class for $15 Australian. Okay, so I have, and I'm going to put on my screen right now, I will put my blog address, lhiggins.blogspot.com. If you go there, there is a post all about the Zoom class, gives you the date and the time and all the information. If you wish, you can purchase the class no matter where you are in the world. However, a few people have had problems with the PayPal link not working for them. I find people in Australia seem to have no issues, but people overseas are having issues. So I don't know what has occurred or what's changed, but for some reason it's not currently working. So if you have problems, send me an email. My email will be in the description below this YouTube video. Send me an email and I will invoice you through PayPal. You don't need to have a PayPal account to use PayPal to pay. Okay, so people go, but I don't have PayPal. You don't need it. All you need is an email address and a credit card, and you can use your credit card through the PayPal system. So I hope that's helpful for someone. The other thing is Craft Along is available. I send out a supply pack to everyone who ordered the month before with me. So Craft Along is a little bit of a different thing. I don't charge for that one. That one is just you get a supply. It's free for everyone to watch, but everyone who ordered with me the previous month over $60 worth gets a supply pack to make the project with me live. So that's how it works. Does anyone have any questions at all before I go? You have to do some more packing. Good luck, Nairi. That's not a job I envy. I do not like moving house. I've done it too many times in my life, and I'm hoping we're going to be here in forever now because I don't want to move again. It's too hard. All right. It is nice to learn new things and get refreshers, Judy. You're right. All right. All right, you guys. All the very best to you all. I hope that that you've had fun today with me, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.